signal now for when I'm needed. But when that light hits the sky, it's not just a call. It's a warning to them.
Yes, sir. Welcome to Beyond the Bat Signal. I'm your host, Domenic and Join me as we dive into the depths of Batman's lore, dissecting the Rogues Gallery, and uncovering the stories of our iconic vigilante known as the Dark Knight. Thank you so much for listening to today's episode. This is going to be a fun one that I have been keeping inside, and I can't wait to share. But before we begin, I want to thank each of our listeners for tuning in. And it goes as far out as like somewhere in Australia, the other end of the world. Unbelievable. The UK, Russia, it's Europe, Italy, Ukraine, Portugal, the United States, of course. Thank you so much for tuning in and listening. If you can, and you have time, do something as small as leaving a review, whether it's on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon, wherever you can listen to podcasts, really. Because it helps go and spread the word, and it goes a long way. Now, with that being said, what is this episode going to be about? It's actually going to be about the MetaQuest 3 VR headset that I have experienced, I have tried, and I can't tell you how much I love it. It is something that I had no idea how much I actually would like this thing. I didn't know. I didn't know at all. And it goes further. It goes further because I got to play Batman Arkham Shadow. Am I done the game? No. I'm going to give you a hands-on review about the game later on in March, I hope. And yeah, so why don't we get into Batman Arkham VR and my hands-on experience with the MetaQuest 3. Oh boy. So how did this all come to be? Like, how did I get my hands on this headset? Well, I was talking about my review, and I watched, I think it was Arkham Videos, play through the entire Batman Arkham Shadow game, and watching it, I loved it. I thought that the story was so well done. I thought that the graphics, the detail, it just felt like Arkham. And I was a huge fan of what Camouflage delivered and continues to deliver with this Batman Arkham Shadow. It is a true sequel to the Arkham franchise. It definitely belongs in one of those main games. I know recently I just did a podcast of the 4 main titles, but I feel like it was hard to talk to and try to rank a game where another person did not play this game, so we talked about the other titles. But this is a staple in the Arkham franchise that totally belongs in the conversation of greatest Arkham game, and I truly felt like that. So, Ryan Payton heard my podcast and reached out and said, would you like to try the MetaQuest 3? And I was like, absolutely. Very kind gentleman. I can't say how humble and genuine he is. And it's like, what you watch on the interviews, if you guys ever have a chance, just YouTube Ryan Payton, and it almost seems like he comes off as genuine on the screen as he does through an email. Unbelievable. Anyway, But that's just the type of person he is. So I got my hands on this MetaQuest 3. And did I jump into Arkham Shadow right away? No. I needed to learn this system. I'm someone that has played PlayStation my entire life and some Xbox as well, right? So I'm very much a hands-on user to look at a TV screen. So I put this headset on, and there are obviously some adjustments, right? Like as a gamer, the first thing is not to put a headset on, so you have to adjust the size, and then you're like, okay, well, where's the power button? I see that, and I never had a Nintendo Wii, so I'm like, okay, like I see that these are the controllers that you put on your hands, and you put this headset on, and then when you turn it on, immediately it will prompt you to create a name, a profile, and then a character, where it scans your face and your character, it looks like you, right? And that is your individual, like that's your character that you see. So for me, brown hair, facial hair, and that's who I see when I look in the mirror. And then I get into the main menu, and right away I'm like immersed into like this lobby. So I was able to choose a different. You can choose multiple different lobbies. One felt like your own home, but it was like a cozy, like mansion. Another felt like a ski lodge. There's so many other spots. So I put this thing on, and I'm looking up, down, left, right, and I'm moving my body while standing, and I completely got lost in the living room that I was in because I felt like I was in this alternative virtual reality space, and it immediately knocked my socks off. I don't know how else to, it's so hard to describe, and yeah, I'm gonna save my comments because there's so much to say and share, and I really want to put it into words to justify exactly how I felt, and I hope you guys can hear, I guess for what you're listening, of how much I actually really enjoyed this experience. And it only gets better. So they give you a tutorial as to how to use the VR headset, which is definitely much needed. And, especially because there's a lot of people that this might be their first time. This was my first time using a VR headset. So they talk about creating a boundary, and it's all about safety. So then they'll kind of create a boundary based on where you're situated, which is important, right? And then you're looking and you're like, okay, you're trying to navigate around like game menus, and you see, okay, like I saw Arkham Shadow. So I was like, okay, let's get this installed. And the installation is actually very quick. And there's a number of other games that were available. Like I noticed that, and for a very affordable price, like I noticed that Camouflage had, now since we're situated in Canada, so we have like, I'm not sure how much Iron Man VR is in the United States, but here it's $34.99. So, and I'm like, man, like that's not a bad deal. Like $34 for a game like that, like incredible. So I go through the tutorial, and it's just about how to use the buttons, how to turn it off, sound, and whatnot. Then the game Arkham Shadow gets installed, okay? And I click it, I press play, and obviously the loading screen kicks in, and I find myself in the apartment, okay? And I'm still trying to get used to these controls, right? So if I have, like I have my headset on and I'm looking around, I immediately feel like I am in a grungy apartment with cockroaches just running around everywhere. And it's funny because I'm looking down and completely forgetting about my surroundings, right? Like, so I was playing in my living room. So behind me, I had a couch. And while I was kind of turning my body, so I'm completely doing like a 180, and I'm like, oh, okay, like there is this door here. And just based on watching the playthrough of Arkham Shadow, I was like, okay, well, this is where the bathroom is, and this is where you can kind of see your face, right? So I am looking at my hands, and it's the coolest thing. Like every hand movement is completely interactive, right? Like I'm seeing what my hands are doing. I can turn it upside down and like my hand is going exactly as it is in the VR headset. I'm looking up, I'm looking down, I'm looking side to side, and I completely feel like I am immersed 100% into this grungy apartment room. It was mind blowing. No other game experience has gotten me to that point. This was something so unique. So I walk into this bathroom, and sure enough, like it's like, you know, you watch any video, you can kind of see, like, you look into the mirror and your match is Malone. So I'm like touching my face. I'm like, oh my God, like this is unreal. My wife is in the background watching me and laughing. And she had to snap some photos, record, just to see. And I'm like, this is unbelievable. And oh, by the way, so when I enter the bathroom, like it's a door, right? So like naturally you have to put your hand out, and like any door, you put your hand around the handle and then slide it open, or you can kind of turn the knob and pull or push, depending. So that was, I would say, so mind-blowing as a talk about in first impression. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that doesn't end there. So you see like the little book in the toilet. I kind of like lean my body down and I grab it. And like, don't get me wrong, there's like a little bit of an adjustment period. And I think that the game does a wonderful job of adjusting. And I should highlight, okay, this is not a full game review. I am only 25% done, as it shows on the stats. And I really want to highlight that. That's so important. Sorry, I need to take a breath here. So, you look at the book, you can kind of turn it over and look through it. It is so neat. And then go back into where the apartment is, and you automatically see some Easter eggs, which Arkham is known for, and camouflage. Talk about the little details. They just get it. And you navigate yourself around the apartment. You're looking in the fridge. You're looking at the cabinets at the bottom where the sink is. And you can open it. It's literally like you're in an apartment. You can open any door you want. And then I notice that there's like the Flying Graysons posters. You can see some phone numbers. And then there's the window. Okay. I look out this window. And I'm someone that I get motion sickness, and I've heard some reviewers talk about how they kind of got motion sickness. I was fine. And one cool thing with this game is they are very mindful to all types of players that don't get motion sickness, do get motion sickness, and they adapt to them. And it's just all based on the settings. So big ups to the people over at Camouflage for just completely understanding and making this, I mean, so accessible to all players. It's truly incredible. So anyway, I want to get back to the thing that just was like, okay, here you go. First impressions, and you had me at hello. And it was hello to the bat signal. Okay, so I'm looking out this window, and right away, like I'm moving my head, and I just see straight ahead the bat signal right there. And I'm like, wow, I got chills. I look to my left, and I see Ace Chemicals. And if you look higher and higher, like you could see the top of the ceiling, like the roof of the Ace Chemicals. You have to look up, right? Just like how you would looking out a window of your home. Doesn't matter if you're in an apartment, condo, 2-story, 3-story, whatever. Okay? Picture, it's the exact same thing. The only difference is you're wearing a headset. So then, obviously, at the start of the game, as a new user, they're giving you a tutorial as to like how to navigate, move your body, and to move the player. Okay? So even how to hop out of the window. It's incredibly neat. So I'm walking closer and closer and closer, and then I notice it looked like a police station, and you can look right in the window and you can hear exactly what's being said in the conversation. Now, I should note, pretty cool that you can connect a Bluetooth speaker, or you can put headphones on and just like, so it doesn't have to be too distracting if people are around you. You can kind of just keep like whatever you're playing just into those earbuds or headphones. Then I had to climb up this building, and it is pretty neat because you just gotta like kind of raise your hands, like you're raising your hands and you climb yourself up, right? Like it's pretty simple, and you feel like you are the person playing the game. You are Matches Malone. That's what it felt like. And sure enough, there's the bad signal. So I'm getting closer. And then it kind of prompts you to, okay, grab the bottle of alcohol. And then on my right side. So I had to grab it, literally using my hand, and push the 2 triggers and grab the bottle of alcohol. And it looks like that there's like a sock attached to it. Then it prompts you to get matches. And it wants you to light the match. And it is the exact motion of how to light a match. I don't know how else to explain it. It seems so simple, but mind blown, you know? And then you have to light this bottle up and throw this bottle to the beloved bat signal. And with the motion, you throw it right to the bat signal. This bat signal lights up with fire. And sure enough, then there's Jim Gordon and the police crew who find you and shoot you. Okay? That was my very first impression. Now, in between this, as I was looking at the bat signal, and it was before I had to throw the bottle of alcohol, I got my wife to put the headset on. And I was just like, Victoria, look around. Look at what's in front of you. You can turn your body, turn around, like do whatever. And she was absolutely blown away by the level of detail. She's like, it actually feels like I'm on a rooftop and I'm looking at it. And I'm like, yeah, you forget that you're in your own living room with a laptop that is on the coffee table right behind you. Like that's exactly how she felt. So I put this thing down and I'm just like, holy smokes, this is legit. Like, I get when people put this on and why users are in love with the VR headset. Because it is a very different but fun way to game. It is something that I have never experienced in my life, and I wish I experienced this sooner. But at the same time, like, this level of detail is incredible. Like, looking at the buildings, looking at the bat signal, I felt like I was immersed in that world. And then I was shot by Jim Gordon, one of the cops, and I was like, oh man, this is cool, right? And then it kind of brings you back. So it says, what was it? A few hours prior, I believe it was. And then you're Batman. Then you kind of go back and you're Batman, right? Because that was present time, and then you have to go back a little bit and see how you got to that point. Now, regardless of the story, I want to talk more about gameplay. The story and the review will come later, which this game does not disappoint. But let's talk about the hands-on experience. And what does it feel like? Okay, so right away, this game immerses you. And like I said, like you kind of go back as to how you got to that point of being Matches Malone. So I was Batman. And you can look down and you look at a shadow, right? And you see your shadow. And here I am with the pointy ear night rat. Batman Forever reference. But yeah. Like, I look down and I see my shadow. I'm Batman. I am Batman. I have my gauntlets on. I can look down. I can see my chest plate. The coolest thing. Okay? And I'm walking around. And then it's training you as to, like, you need to get a batarang. And how do you get the batarang? So right away, like, it'll train you. You need to use this trigger, push it down, and you get it from your chest. So you put it up against your chest, and boom, you have a batarang in your hand. You can bring it in front of your face and look at it dead on, and you can throw it. Hand throwing motion doesn't matter. You can use a grapple gun, and it sounds, it feels just like an Arkham game. However, I feel like Batman. I feel like I'm the one that's looking up, and I see a ledge, and I'm shooting my grapple gun right to that ledge, and I'm flying right up there. The other thing, gliding around in midair. You can do that too, right? It's just about using the triggers or using the controllers to immerse yourself to be, I guess, gliding, right? So you kind of pull it or push the two triggers from your sides, and I kind of picture like Batman Returns. So where Batman's at the top of the building, I think the princess just was knocked off by Penguin, and you know when Michael Keaton's Batman just kind of has his hands to his sides, and then kind of does like a lat raise and extends his arms, so it's almost like, yeah, they're parallel to the ground. And when you're pulling the trigger and making your arms parallel to the ground, your cape is extended and you can glide. It is mind blowing. So much fun. Like I just couldn't get over how it makes you feel. And I don't know how to express how I feel more. And I think that's why it's so important for people to get their hands on this. And for someone who was, I don't want to say skeptical, because, you see this game and you're like, this is a legit game. This is so good. Like the story, the graphics look incredible. Clearly it's a powerful system. But playing it is a whole other level. And, I had to share this with my wife. There was a couple of times, and not only that, so prior to the Super Bowl, my family came over, and I'm like, you guys need to just try this. So there's like a scene where you're kind of walking around, you see Harvey Dent signs, and you have to fight people, okay? And listen, you have to be active. You have to be on your feet, and you're moving. You're throwing jabs, boom, 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 boom. And yes, the game trains you. And I got my mother-in-law, my father-in-law, my dad, just play it. Like, go pick up a Batarang. And my in-laws and my father, 60 years plus, okay? And they were doing even simple things like just trying to flex. They were looking at their arms. They were blown away, okay? Like, they're so familiar with, like, they see me playing, on the PlayStation 5. They see me play the Arkham games. But this was something that they were mind blown about. They were talking about it right after they took this headset off, and could not believe what they just saw. They thought it was the coolest thing, and I have a smile because of how much fun. I had videos because I was so happy that they were immersed, and I don't think that they would have gotten that level of enjoyment with a PlayStation or an Xbox. And I truly, truly, truly mean that. And I honestly believe that people who have used the VR headset and can attest to this. And it's something that you just need to try. So, yeah, you feel like Batman. Every movement that you're doing, you hear your footsteps. It is cool. When you're fighting, you're like, okay, you're turning and you're looking around to see who's coming next. And the combat system it feels very, very much like and stays true to the combat system in the other Batman Arkham games. Like, you're turning and you just have to like put an arm out and you can turn 180 degrees to when the next person's coming to you. Or you can just look to your left, you look to your right, and I'm doing that as I'm talking, and you can look up and see what's coming to you. Like, you're Batman. You're the one, and you're waiting. Like, you're seeing all these people come to you, and you're like, okay, let's go, right? One of the cool things I thought, something small, but it is grabbing handlebars and climbing up. I loved it. Grabbing the little, the mouse trophies and breaking them. I thought that was cool, right? And you get like these, I guess it's like little sound bits, and you hear it gives you bits of a story, background to a story, or it might even give you something that's happening in a separate game. Again, pretty dope. That is for me to say that, for as far as I am in the game, but I can honestly say I'm having so much fun playing this game. I'm having so much fun using the Meta Quest 3 headset. And I'll give you an example, okay? And I know it's not Batman related, and I will circle back to it. So I was like, you know what? My wife and I, we need to decompress, right? And I was just like, I wonder if they have something that can relax you, because when you're looking at this game, I know I'm repeating myself, you're looking around, you're fully in a new city, you do not feel like you're in a room. So I downloaded something, what was it called? It's gonna come to me. Trip. It was called Trip. So, and basically you can create this timer. It makes you feel like it's basically a relaxation game or relaxation app, right? And what it does is you can feel like you're in the woods, and you can look up and you're in the stars, and it just mellows you out with the sounds, and it's so peaceful. And sound quality. Can I just say that the sound quality is very clear? Like, there's nothing, like, technically you don't have to wear headphones at all. Like, you could just put the headset on and listen, and it is like abundantly clear to what you're listening to and hearing. It's incredible. So we put on this thing. It was called Trip, and my wife just was able to just kind of sit at the couch, but she's looking around. She's like, I'm in the woods. Like, that's what it feels like. And I'm looking up and I see stars. Like, that's how crazy this is. Unbelievable. So they have a lot to offer. There's games like boxing. So I noticed that there's Creed. There's even some hockey games. I believe that I saw some soccer, and definitely Iron Man VR. Look, I am beyond grateful that Mr. Ryan Payton and the team over at Camouflage Studios and MetaQuest was able to give me the privilege to try this incredible, powerful device. It is actually pretty decently priced. I mean, I know that you can get the MetaQuest 3S for $299, and it's still included in the bundle up until April. I wanted to be very honest. I even said that to Ryan. I was like, I'm going to share my first reaction, and then I'm going to have a review, and I'm going to be abundantly honest. And he's like, that's all we expect. We want honesty. That's it. And that's what I'm providing. Like, and I really, truly, I wouldn't lie about this. Because there's people that have hard-earned money. But if you want a unique experience, and it's not just like to play video games. However, I really recommend that you play Batman. I mean, the accolades that this game is getting, you look up the number of awards. They are cleaning house. And that's no mistake. I mean, these individuals, the developers or the workers over at Camouflage, have worked their tails off, and it's still being updated like nonstop. They just added the biggest update yet, version 1.3. And how cool is that I'm signing in and I'm like, oh, here's another update that these guys are doing. And they are committed to this game. But regardless, I can't say enough good things about how much I loved Arkham Shadow. And I'd say about the hour and a half, 2 hours I've been playing this game. Like, just to throw a batarang, just to hear the Roger Craig voices in my ear as I'm playing, just to throw punches, to feel like Batman, to use the grapple gun, and to do the detective work. Oh, and I forgot. Oh my God. I forgot that you can even go into detective mode, right? Like, you just bring it up to your head, push a button, and boom, you're in detective mode. Like, wild. Just wild. And to walk around and just see the little details into the Arkham lore and the Arkham mythos, I'm really appreciating. One thing I'm having a lot of fun doing as of right now is there's like little phone numbers, so you can go to a payphone and you can stick out your finger, okay? Truly, stick out your finger while holding the controller, and you can dial whatever it is. Like, let's just say it's 777-6787, whatever. I'm making up a number. And you know where like you can get the change, like there's like that little pocket. I'm talking about little details here, but you know where you can get the change into that little pocket. You can literally stick your finger out and like point it towards that little spot where you can grab the change, and that little pamphlet, that little like, I don't know, you can open it. That little, I don't know what it's called. I'm having a brain fart. With that said, I loved my experience so far with the MetaQuest 3. Can't wait to finish this game. And there's still going to be updates. Like, it's incredible. Feel free. If you have any questions, I will be more than happy to answer any and all questions that you might have about this video game or the MetaQuest 3 experience. And if you're not sure, you're on the fence, listen, I'm saying it's worth it. Let alone, it's just for the Arkham Shadow. Yes, I can't wait to try Iron Man VR next as well. I was watching some videos, and like, you're in air, like you're in the air and flying. So, yeah, what I say, do I recommend it? 100%, without a doubt. I even had my brother-in-law try this out, and he was just blown away by how impressive and immersive that this headset is. And it's something that you have to try, right? Like, it's one thing to watch the videos and not actually play it. Like, it is a completely different experience. It's different from ever playing an Arkham game, but it feels like an Arkham game, if that makes any sense. If you have any questions about MetaQuest 3 or anything else, feel free to email me at beyondthebatsignal@gmail.com, or you can feel free to follow along on X/Twitter at beyondbatsignal. And kindly leave a 5-star review or whatever star. Like, if you're like, I'm not sure about this podcast, be honest. I want some constructive criticism as well. I'm all for it. So you can do that through Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon, wherever you listen to podcasts. Be greatly appreciated. But yeah, that's about it for this podcast. I know upcoming is going to be my review on Batman issue number 5, The Last Halloween. And then following that is my review for Batman Arkham Shadow. So I can't wait to talk about that one. With that being said, this is Beyond the Bat Signal. My name is Domenic, and we are signing off.